When Jim said, he was going to contact you about being on the show, I didn't realize you were an author and you had the book. And he's just like, he's the director of the Royals Hall of Fame, a longtime friend. And I'm like, man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
and then,
so cool.
And then, we come to find out about the book, and I'm like, wow. Like, so, just hearing some of your stories and now, like, I'm excited. I'm going to sit down and read this thing.
I hope you enjoy it. I think if you're a Royals fan, it'd be hard not to, because it's full of all the people and moments and things you've loved over the years, or if you're a relatively recent convert to Royals baseball, to give you a primer on all the great stuff that happened prior to your joining us on this wonderful 51-year journey so far. And continuing of Royals baseball in Kansas City.
Hey, Curt, can you leave us an autographed copy behind that the Midwest Mike guys can give away on their
Absolutely.
Twitter page?
We
Thank
will
you.
do that.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
perfect. We will do that.
We'll do a little contest and give away an autographed copy, and maybe we can tie that in something with Show 100 coming up, and we got a big landmark we've done. This is Show 89. So
Kurt's
down
the street from the Waldo, so
Yeah, and
hey, there you go.
Actually, our plan is, which we're going to make the announcement here a little later tonight, but we're going to invite all the guests that have ever been on our show back to the spot where we're going to do it, and
Very
so
cool.
we'll get you that information.
Awesome.
And if you're available that day and want to come by, we're going to do a live show from a sports bar and lead into the Chiefs game, which is at night that week on
Very
December
good.
22nd, and all that. But yeah, we'll get you that information, and we're going to invite all of our guests we've had on the show and just kind of have a little celebration on us. But I'm excited to read the book. I'm excited to check it out. Last thing here.
So the guest that wins it's going to get your fingerprints on every page before you give it away?
Hey, maybe they'll want me to sign it too.
I got one last thing for Curt. Your closing words to Ned Yost. I mean, before Gary closes the show down, what would you like to say to Ned?
Oh, well, it starts. I did this during the game the other day because I thought it's kind of fun because it was really quick. His first game with the Royals was May 14th of 2010, which was a win. So he bookends it with wins, and he did that. This is Royals geekery. He did that wearing jersey number 2. And then he changed to number 3 in 2011, which we're much more familiar with him wearing number 3, and of course would make Royals history. So he made Royals history wearing number 3, and then he began his Royals career wearing number 2, and he left us standing tall at number 1 in most wins, most pennants, and as I said, and I truly believe, most memorable moments for both the Royals and Kansas City. So he stands number 1 there. So it's like sort of the 3-2-1 of Ned's career here in Kansas City. So he'll always have a special place here in Kansas City.
Yeah, and I'm sure eventually he'll be inducted to that Royals Hall of Fame, and we'll get an exhibit.
We're saving a place. I have a feeling he'll get the votes to be able to get in.
I would think so.
I would think so.
I think
too.
he's good to go there.
Winning a World Series. But so we'll get you out of here on this. You got to travel with the trophy. Mm-hmm. You said, what is the most interesting story from traveling with the trophy all around the United States?
Really, there's a lot of them because they change. So when you're traveling by yourself with the trophy a lot, it was interesting because I would get stuck in my own dilemmas. It's like, okay, how do I go about going to get something to eat with the trophy and leaving it in the car? Or so a lot of times I wouldn't leave it in the hotel room by itself. I would usually take it with me, and then I would park the car at some place where I could see the car, and it's all that's very geeky stuff. But
I'm sure it's tough.
The fun part of it is a lot of times it would have, because you get to the ballpark, they're expecting it to be there, so it's kind of cool. They're expecting it to be there, and it's there, and everybody interacts and takes pictures and everything. The place, it's the places where they're not expecting it. It's like the airport, when you roll through the airport and you're sort of explaining, through TSA,
this is
the World Series trophy. And in Kansas City, they got used to me going through there, so I sort of had an arrangement with them. I was like, I show up, and you go through a special screening thing and be able to get on. But almost every single time, it would, the airlines that I would fly, it's like I would alert them that I'm doing this, and it comes in a rolling box. So I would roll the box down the ramp, but then take the trophy out of the box because the box would be stowed. But we never wanted to stow the trophy. The trophy was going to fly in the plane with me. We never wanted to stow the trophy for fear that it would get damaged there or get lost. So if the box got lost, that's fine. But I still had the trophy at that point.
Yeah.
Did it ever get any pat downs? The trophy.
And it did. They would wear white gloves and do everything. I would have to take the trophy out of the case, and they would have to do the whole 9 yards. I mean, they have to do their work. There's no question. But every single time it would be like I would get like early boarding. They would let me get on early, and I would go on. And almost every single time the crew of the plane would come out, and it's like, oh, we're traveling with the World Series trophy, and then the trophy itself would sit in the seat next to me, and when I first started doing it, I contacted a couple of different clubs, and I get different advice. So some clubs were saying, don't let anybody know what you have with you, and other clubs said, let everybody know what you have with you. And we sort of worked under the philosophy of let everybody know what.
You didn't
this
listen to
thing
the
is.
Yankees then.
No, I don't listen. So we worked under the philosophy of let everybody. So I would get in there, I would situate it. The trophy is round, as you may or may not know. So you could literally seatbelt the trophy into her seat, her name is Ruth, and I would seatbelt her in. And then the passengers would come on, and it would always be interesting to see their reaction to it. Because there would be people that didn't know what it was, but it would be like, that must be something. Yeah. And there would be people that would immediately know what it was, and it's like they would ask, is that the World Series trophy? Which I never responded to this way, but in my mind I was thinking, well, if it's not the World Series, it's like they would ask if it's the real World Series trophy, and I was like, trust me, I would not be purchasing a second ticket for a fake World Series trophy.
Yeah, no joke.
But people would enter, and a lot of times the funnest one was coming back, because you would link up in some city away from here, and it would fill up with a lot of Kansas City people, and then they would be surprised, right? They had no idea, and they would get on, and it would be like, oh my gosh, is that the Royals World Series trophy? Yes, it is.
How long?
So a lot of pictures taken
cool.
there. So it was that was sort of a lot of times that was the more fun. I got to take it and be on stage at the ballet for the Nutcracker during the holiday season in 2015.
Wow. That's cool.
That was fun. There was one time we had it at Union Station. This was probably one of the most fun ones because it was completely random. We had taken it down there for a holiday party for corporate partners for the Royals. So I was there, and we were at the restaurant. And then as I was leaving, they put up the what do you call them, the ramps up for for Carol, Carol and Choir,
Okay.
and the risers. They put up the risers for the carolers to come in, and they were all like elementary school kids. And so they filled that up, and you could tell that the audience was almost all parents. So they were basically performing for their parents. And I thought, I'm just going to, while they're in the middle of a carol, I'm just going to take the trophy out, and I'm just going to walk right in and sit down on the middle of the riser with the World Series trophy, which is exactly what I did. And of course, they all went nuts.
They probably went nuts.
They all went nuts. So all the kids and all the families or whatever, and that turned into a whole picture taking opportunity there. But that was really fun because it was completely random. They had no idea that we were there with the trophy, and it's like it just sort of showed up out of the blue.
It was probably a lot of fun, and then. I mean, also probably kind of an annoyance Whereas, I mean, everybody and their mom, once they realize what it is, probably wants a picture.
You want a picture with it at that point.
And
but
so
that was always fine. It was always willing to put the time in for that because it was always Kansas City's trophy. It wasn't just the Royals trophy alone. It was Royals fans and Kansas City in a lot of ways. The World Series, these World Series rings don't say Royals on the top of them. They say KC.
Real quick, I know they got to wrap the show up here. How long did it take you to get comfortable wearing that ring?
I joke about it every now and then. Is diamonds are a boy's best friend.
Hold it up.
Diamonds are a boy's best friend.
Bam.
World Series ring on Midwest Mics.
Look at that.
The other thing that I always say about it is the best weight I ever put on. And it is heavy, but you do sort of get used to it. The first day I had it, my brother called me. And
they were the sports nerds.
Oh yes,
they were the jocks. They were the jocks.
Yes, I always joke that they both played baseball and I made the big leagues.
There you go.
All right.
And
one of them's a coach at Rockhurst baseball.
That's right. My younger brother Mitch coaches at Rockhurst University. Coaches baseball at Rockhurst University. But he would ask me. He goes, "Is your car pulling to the left?" I didn't get what he was saying at first. It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? He goes, is your car pulling to the left? And he goes, the ring. Is it pulling the car?
Yeah,
it could almost.
He's like, yeah, it is actually.
I mean, I joke with people, when I win a state championship as a coach, I'm going to wear that ring everywhere for like 3 years.
I thought that I don't wear it all the time, but I wear it when I'm representing the Royals. It's like if I'm mowing my lawn on a Saturday, it's like I'm not wearing the ring.
Well, no, you wouldn't have straight stripes.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So
I wear it a lot, and I'll always wear it a lot because I'm grateful to all the gentlemen that got the hits and threw the pitches and fielded the balls because I did none of that, but they
well,
won
you're a vital
that,
part of the organization too. I mean,
I like to think I add to the organization. They certainly were the ones that helped us.
Definitely do.
Helped us win a world championship.
I mean,
and we're all in their debt in that sense because
part of
the memories that go along with that are just unbelievable.
Yeah, part of
long-lasting.
The things with a major league or professional organization, is the people behind the scenes that don't get recognized. And I mean, part of Major League Baseball especially is getting fans to the ballpark. And, the Royals Hall of Fame is a big part in that, hey, not only can you go watch a baseball game, but you can walk through and you can see all this Royals history and some of the stories you shared, and you can see all those things that your hard work, and your team have put in and make it an enjoyable experience, not just get to see a baseball game, but you get to see all these other things that are so cool. And like I said, I mean, me as a sports guy, I'm not the biggest baseball fan. I've admitted that, but like I love learning the history of the Royals and seeing those things. It's fantastic. And
the experience of the Kauffman Stadium is, I say, it's Kansas City's living room. It's like we all meet back out at Kauffman Stadium, and it feels like home. That was one thing about. I explained to people that 2014 World Series was an interesting experience for me because, and Ryan Lefevre said this, and I told him I had the exact same feeling. Game one was at home at Kauffman Stadium, and it was one of those things where it was surreal to think that the World Series was being played at Kauffman Stadium. Now, I had seen that before in 80 and 85, but you go there, and we were so caught up into it working. It's like the 14 was such a roller coaster whirlwind. And as Ryan said, and I had the exact same experience, it says, well, on the field it says World Series. It says World Series right there. This must be what's going on, and it was going on, and it's so. Yeah, that's the experiences. That's everybody. Even if you weren't there, you have that. Yeah. If you the parade, I mean the parade's a whole nother story. It's like one of the most special days in the history of this city. Yeah, it just simply is.
I did ask, because Curt and I are both in that picture behind you in the World Series parade there. I did ask him last time we were together. I said, did you ride or did you walk? And guess what he did, guys?
Oh,
guess
no
what
way
he
that
did.
no way that
probably
you don't.
riding, right?
No,
With
no.
the trophy?
Once we got down there, no, Ned had the trophy in that particular
Okay,
one,
okay.
rightly so. Ned had the trophy in that one, but the walking of the streets and being able to walk through that. The one thing is, you come around. We came around there. There were people everywhere. Those that were part. There were people everywhere, and you would get there and you would come around. But the one